I'll be honest, morbid curiosity was the only reason I watched this. I could tell it was a super low budget movie, but the premise was intriguing. Not because it's good, but because I was curious to see how they were gonna stretch it into a feature-length movie. And the answer is barely. It's barely a feature-length movie. This is a classic case of taking a short film idea and trying to turn it into a movie. So what's the premise? The premise is that two guys call up a girl one of them knows and suggest they have a threesome. Pretty much out of the blue too. Yeah, not much to go on. And that's why it's about 70 minutes long and feels like they made it up as they went along. Because they probably did. Now that being said, it's better than it should be. And I did like some parts of it. There is something to it. The problem is that, well, first of all, it looks a little inconsistent. A lot of it looks really good, professionally shot and lit and all that. Some of it though looks like they needed more footage, but didn't have access to the cinematographer, which does happen sometimes with low budget movies. And that is a problem, but it's more of a minor nitpick than a real issue. The bigger issue here is the writing, or the lack thereof, or what feels like the lack thereof. Now, I don't have any proof, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that they improvised most of the dialogue. Because if that was written down on a page, it's some of the worst writing I've ever seen in my life. And I get why they did that. They figured if they just wing it, it'll sound more spontaneous and natural. But instead it comes across as clunky and awkward. I mean, I've never had a conversation that sounded like any of that in my entire life. Sure, you stumble and mess up some words here and there and go off on tangents, but not like this. This is some next level awkward dialogue. It really does come across as if someone was put on the spot and told to make something up. And action. They flub their words. There's a million ums and ahs. So I figure we could maybe I don't know, have dinner or something, you know? You wanna have dinner? Is that something you maybe wanna do? I mean, yeah. We could have dinner, I guess. If you wanna have dinner, if that's what you wanna do, we could do that. That's pretty much what it sounds like, except maybe worse. And I actually wrote it down. And I could see how awful it looks on the page before I even said it. And that's the beauty of writing your dialogue. You can fix it before your actors have to deliver the lines. And you can keep it coherent and prevent tangents and unnecessary rambling. And you're also allowed to take multiple. And you're also allowed to do multiple takes. If an actor flops a line, just redo it. Now there's actually a few exceptions to this too. Mainly the scenes with the mom. Those actually felt rehearsed and written. You know, like an actual movie with a script. But overall, this thing feels like a series of awkward and increasingly strange conversations. And it gets kinda absurdist there towards the end too. But narratively, I actually think it sorta works. And the actors aren't terrible. And as I said, it looks pretty good too, for the most part, with some exceptions. But the script, if there was one, needed some serious polish, and at least a couple more drafts. But that's really it. If they took the time to sit down and map out the scenes and work on the dialogue, this could work. I mean, the premise is really weak, but they still managed to somehow turn it into a somewhat interesting story. That was pretty surprising to me. And with some actual effort put into each scene, it could be a pretty decent movie. Unfortunately, as it is, it's a bit of a mess. And I could see a less dedicated viewer shutting it off. Pretty fast too. And if I hadn't decided to review this, I would have probably shut it off too. It's a bit of an insult to your attention span, this one. So yeah, would I recommend it? Nope. Unless you really want to see how not to write dialogue. Otherwise, definitely skip this one. Or don't. I'm not your dad.